so that we can go back to leading a normal life, yeah? Right? Yeah, we can't wait. Do we all like our new normal? You all like your new normal? No, somebody's crying. Yes, it's painful. Yes, but sometimes we have to do it for, it teaches us a lot of things. I'm sure this pandemic has taught us a lot of different things. So, all right, so today my topic, let me share the screen. Okay. Okay, can you all see this? It's clear for everyone? Okay. So today my topic is write effectively in business English. All right, so let's begin. Writing, as you all know, nobody likes to write. Why? Because it's a chore. Why? Because we don't have enough practice. Why? Because nobody has actually taught us how to do it. All right, today I'm going to try to lighten a little bit of your burden, especially in the workplace. We cannot run away from not writing, right? Okay, and more importantly, writing in your workplace will actually get you a long way. Okay, it's the communication tool that is necessary in our working life. So whether it's face to face or whether it is a written form, once we speak good English, we can write well. Okay, or if we write well, we can speak good English. They go hand in hand. So this is our new normal now. We are all into online teaching. We are all into online working, all working from home. So we need to be as clear as possible. In writing effectively, don't waste your time thinking about using fancy words, especially in the workplace. Phrasal verbs, adjectives. Okay, don't need to be creative. This is not creative writing. What is important is to get your message across. Leave nothing to interpretation. Okay, be straightforward. Okay, no need to use cliches, proverbs, idioms. Don't worry about being elegant or stylish. Okay, but be simple yet effective. All right, use simple tenses, use direct vocabulary. Don't be long-winded. Seriously, we live already in a rat race. It's a fast-paced world. Okay, time is precious. Nobody has time to read long messages, long emails. All right, at the workplace, what we need to learn is the language that's practiced in the workplace, especially when we do our presentations, our negotiations, our meetings, our agendas, and lots of correspondence. So to write effectively, you will need to practice the 4 C's, which I'm going to stress a lot in today's webinar. Be clear, be correct, be concise, and be coherent. Okay, writing is actually an art and it is a discipline, meaning if you get good enough practice, right, you will become better at it. Right, writing effectively is not to express, sorry, can I redo that again? Right, writing effectively is to express, not impress. All right, why? We are not writers, we're not journalists, we are in the workplace. So our message needs to be sent across. Okay, we need to express the purpose of why we are writing, right? So today, okay, I'm here to teach you to write effectively in business English in a way to renew, to refresh, and sometimes maybe to relearn some of the skills in writing. So actually, I'll be taking you back to your good old school days, reliving your school days. Okay, why? Because acquiring good writing skills is the foundation of writing effectively. All right, so I'm going to share what I'm going to do today. This is my table of contents. All right, so I'm going to look at 6 aspects of writing effectively. The first is the basics, sentence construction. All right, sentence construction, okay, we all think it's easy, but what is it actually? All right, okay, how do we construct grammatically correct sentences that conveys our message correctly and accurately? All right, then we will be looking at consistent verb tenses. Now, a sentence without a verb is meaningless. All right, okay, verbs give meaning to a sentence. However, if in one sentence we use the past tense and the present tense with the future tense, it's only going to confuse your readers. All right, the third one, okay, are parallel structures. What are they? Okay, that is sometimes in one sentence, we might want to express a few ideas, but we use all the wrong forms, meaning, all right, we use different structures, so much so that the reader is going to go into circles. It's going to be confused and frustrated. All right, so here I will share with you some rules and some guidelines of how we can try to put our structures in the same form so that when you read it, it flows. Okay, it's easy to understand. Okay, you will see this later when I do that. Okay, fourthly comes signposting. All right, what is signposting? Signposting makes our reading cohesive. They are the glue that will bind and link all our sentences to our paragraphs to our sections, is so that our writing is complete. It gives a logical sequence and flow. All right, and mind you, the fifth one, okay, it is the most important, punctuation. Conveying messages as a long train of words and expressions will make no sense to the person reading it. We need to punctuate. All right, we are going to look at some of the, I'm going to give you an overview of the different punctuation marks and how we can use it correctly. And last and not least, some tips and suggestions on effective writing. Okay, are we all clear on the structure of our webinar today? Can you all hear? Is it very clear to everybody? Okay, good. Okay, I see lots of thumbs up. That's nice. Thank you. So we've got lots to cover. Okay, it's going to be quite an interactive session today with everybody. You're going to be given lots of exercises, tasks, okay, activities to brush up, okay, to polish some of your writing skills. All right, so be ready. Maybe you can have, I don't know, whatever, a little notebook maybe, your phone by you so that you can take snapshots of the exercises and then we can start doing it. Okay, all good? All right, so let's get started with our first part, which is, oops, 1 minute. Okay, before we even start, I forgot this very famous quote. The secret of becoming a writer is to write, and keep on writing. Basically, practice. Practice makes perfect. And remember, no pain, no gain. So you need to practice. You need to put your thoughts down. Okay? All right? Oh, somebody says they can't hear the sound. Maybe you have a sound problem. I think everybody else is okay. Narazilina. Okay. All right. So let's start. Okay. So under sentence construction, I'm going to share with you 2 parts or 2 subsections. The first is the basic structure of sentences. So we all know, okay, there are long and short sentences. All right. There are basically 4. Okay. patterns that we can write. The second one is purpose. Every sentence has a purpose. There are basically 4 purposes. All right, so I'll take you through in a little bit. Okay, so coming to the rudimentary of it, what is a sentence? Okay, what is a sentence? Anybody? Anybody wants to tell me what is a sentence? No? Yes? Irshad, what is a sentence? You say thumbs up. What is a sentence? Anybody? Okay, sentence, subject and predicate. Fantastic, Hillary. Thank you. Okay, hit the nail on the head. Yes. Consists of 2 parts, the subject, the predicate or the verb. So the subject can be someone or something, and the predicate can be someone or something is being or doing. All right. But more importantly, a sentence, okay, is an independent clause. What I mean by that is that it's a complete thought. It can stand on its own. It is independent. It's got meaning, all right? Okay, and it is self-explanatory. All right, so if I'm going to give you a thought, example, who did what? She exercised. So that is a complete thought. We know the action being done. We have the information. She exercised. Compared to she likes. Is she likes a complete sentence? Is it a proper sentence? Anyone? She likes. Or I like. We like. Does it have all the information? No. Why? Why, Fazana? Because it cannot stand on its own. It doesn't give you a meaning to it. She likes what? She can like 100 things. True? But when you say she exercises, we know she does one thing, which is an action. All right, she exercises. All right? Okay, so let me take you through the structure of sentences, the basic structures. We are, yes, that's right, Fazana, no object. When you don't have an object, all right, it's not a complete sentence, okay, because of the use of the verb like. That's all. All right, so let's move on. Okay, so basically there are 4 types of sentences or structures of sentences: the simple, the compound, the complex, and the compound complex. Okay, yeah, I'm going through these basics because I think sometimes we do need to refresh our memory to see how we can improve in our sentence construction. All right, so I'm going to take you through very quickly. The first one is a simple sentence. It's got a subject, verb, and complement. It's a complete thought. It is very clear because it's got all the information and it can stand on its own. That means, okay, you know what the person is talking just by reading that sentence. Okay, that's an independent clause. All right, example, it must have a subject, verb, and complement, or a complement can be an object, it can be a word, it can be an adjective, can be a clause or whatever. All right, so that is the complement. Okay, the next is a compound sentence. A compound sentence, it consists of 2 or more simple sentences, but it must be joined by a coordinating conjunction. And each part of that sentence is independent. So you've got 2 parts, and each part is independent. That means each of them, okay, can stand on its own. It's a complete thought. All right, it can be separated with no grammar mistakes. If you throw away the conjunction, the coordinating conjunction, it can still survive, but we want to combine them together to make them a compound sentence. So, all right, you have got 2 independent parts to it. So, for example, she ate lunch, but she was still hungry. So she ate lunch is a complete sentence, it's a complete thought. She was very hungry. It's also a complete sentence. So she has got two independent clauses. Even though she has had lunch, she is still hungry. All right? Joined by the coordinating conjunction. A complex sentence, all right, it's a bit more complex in the sense that it consists of an independent clause and a dependent clause, meaning one part can stand on its own, but the other cannot. It hangs. All right? For example, even though she has eaten lunch, the X clause, even though she has eaten lunch, is hanging. So what? I don't understand. It's hanging. It's incomplete. It needs another part to make it complete. So we call these a complex sentence when we have one part which can stand its own, okay, joined to one part that cannot stand on its own, then only the sentence actually makes sense. All right? There is logic to the sentence. So she was still hungry even though she had eaten lunch. So this is a complex sentence. And the last one, a compound complex sentence, where you have two or more independent clauses, okay, joined with two or more dependent clauses, but at least one dependent clause. Example, oops, sorry. Okay, example, even though she had lunch and then she had some ice cream, she was still hungry. So even though she had lunch is dependent on the other two clauses. She had some ice cream, it can stand on its own. She was still hungry, it can stand on its own. So you've got two independent clauses joined to an independent clause. Joined to a dependent clause to give meaning to the sentence. Only then it's a complete thought. We can follow you and we can understand what you're trying to say. All right, so don't start a sentence with while I was driving and just leave the sentence there. Okay, it is not a complete thought. While I was driving, what happened? 1,000 things can happen. Who came in? What happened to you? So when you complete it, okay, with an independent clause, it becomes a compound complex or a complex sentence, depending. Okay, all good here? All right, any questions so far? Okay, good. All right, I shall continue. All right, I'm going to give you some information about what is a coordinating conjunction, because to make a complex sentence, we need a coordinating conjunction. Okay, I'm going to give you a very simple acronym. It's called FAN-VOICE. Okay, memorize it and you can use it to join any two simple sentences together with the word for, and, no, but, or, yet, or so. So basically there are 7, but the most common ones are but, and, so, or. All right, so you have one part, a simple sentence, another part, a simple sentence, combine them together with a coordinating conjunction, and there you go, you have got a compound sentence. Why am I teaching you all this? Because variety. We can't be having 10 simple sentences in a paragraph. It's so mundane and boring, right? After all, life, okay, variety is the spice of life, true? So we need to have a variety of sentences, okay? And also it will show our professionalism. It shows that, oh, wow, you know, you've got some skills in writing. You can impress people, all right, with good, doesn't have to be bombastic words, but good structure, different structures. That's paramount, okay? Remember that. Okay, now what do I understand by dependent clause? Okay, because we say a complex and a compound complex sentence consists of dependent clauses. So what is it? It means that it's got a subject and the verb, but it doesn't have or doesn't express a complete thought. Sometimes we call them a subordinate clause. It can come in the beginning or it can come at the end. Examples. Oops, sorry, something happened. 1 minute. Okay. Here are some examples. She fell asleep because she was tired. Now, okay, because she was tired is a dependent clause. All right, sometimes called the subordinate clause. All right, next slide, I will show you what is a subordinate clause. All right, I'll call you if I go. If I go is a dependent clause because it cannot function on its own. It cannot stand on its own. All right, you cannot, it's not a complete sentence. It needs another part. Okay, so the next part is when a dependent clause starts a sentence, you should put a comma. Okay, because she was tired, comma, she fell asleep. So that's your punctuation, right? Okay, so for complex sentences, this is your punctuation note. And if you start, okay, if you start with an independent clause like I'll call you, then you do not need a comma. All right, so now I want to explain what is the subordinate clause and what are the different types that you can use to make complex sentences. All right, subordinate clauses are just a clause that gives additional information to the main clause or to the main sentence. Okay, so below are some examples. So these are all the different subordinate conjunctions that you can use in a complex sentence. Mind you, without a second part to it, it is meaningless. So before I met you, while I was meeting you, when I met you, as soon as I met you, after I met you, if you just stop there, it's got no meaning. You need another part. You need the independent clause. Okay, that is a simple sentence that you can make to join this. Okay, subordinate conjunction to make something more meaningful. Okay, so you've got subordinate conjunctions related to time. Okay, if you want to show contrast, though I like you, all right, I'm not going to the movie with you, for instance, because we are in the pandemic. Does it make sense? We all have to, most of us have to work from home. Okay, or sometimes even conditional sentences. If it rains, I'm going to wrap myself in a blanket and watch some TV. Okay, for instance. Okay, and also with relative pronouns. All right. I will continue where I stopped, for instance. Okay, all right. So let's give you more examples so that you get a feel of what the different types of sentences here now are, so that you can see the differences between the 4 types of sentences. Like I said, variety is the spice of life. Try to make it as colorful as possible with as many different types of sentences as possible. So you can, I'll give you a minute to just have a quick look at the structure. I've got to put the source there as well. So if you want to learn more and review, renew, refresh your memories, okay, please click on the link. All right, and yeah, happy learning. Okay, so that's a simple sentence. That's a compound sentence with a coordinating conjunction. Fanboys, remember the acronym fanboys. Okay, that's a complex sentence. Now, although she completed, see the use of the subordinate conjunction, although, because, as, all right? Okay, okay, so that part cannot stand on its own. It's dependent on the next part. So that's a complex sentence. And the last one, compound complex sentences, okay? We've got more, at least 2 independent clauses with 1 dependent or maybe even more. It depends on the kind of sentence that you want to construct. Okay, any questions? Any queries? Anyway, we will leave the last 20 minutes or so for Q&A. All right, so I shall continue. Okay, some activity for you to do. Okay, I want you to read the sentences and then try to identify whether they're a simple, compound, complex, or compound, complex. Then I would like you to also try to underline some of the dependent clauses and circle the conjunction. Either they're coordinating or subordinate. All right, so for instance, some students take part-time jobs. Okay, can somebody tell me whether it's an SC, CX, or CCX? Anyone? No? No one wants to respond? No? You understand? What? Some students take part-time jobs. Yes. Thank you, Lester. Yes, it is a complete sentence. Why? It's got a subject, it's got a verb, and it's got a complement. Okay, it's a complete sentence, a simple sentence. Okay, let's try this one. The man smiled and laughed. What type of sentence is this? Yes, thank you. Any more? Right, brilliant. Yes, compound. Yes, compound sentence. Okay. Why isn't it a complex sentence? Can somebody tell me? Anyone? Because of the word and. Yes. Thank you. Okay. It comes from fan voice. All right. Thank you, Muhammad. Okay. Okay. Now I leave you to do the rest. Okay. And then we will just quickly run through it. So this is just to check on your understanding and just to polish up some of your knowledge of sentences. Okay, I'll give you 1 minute. All right, so let's, right, done? Okay, give you a few more seconds. Okay, so number 3. What's the answer? Anybody? Anyone? Number 3? Yes, C. Okay, let me go back to number 2. Okay, I've heard. All right. Now, the man smiled and laughed. It's not a complex sentence. Sorry, it's not a compound sentence. Why? It's a simple sentence. Who can tell me why? Because if you go back, let me go back. Okay, look at the compound. Okay, sorry, go back. Yes, okay, look at the compound. She completed her literature review and she created. So can you see? It's SVC and SVC again. So if you go back to my slide, let me just go back and just reiterate. All right. I'm sorry about that. You look. Okay. A compound must have the SVC again. Here in this sentence, the man smiled and laughed doesn't have a SVC unless you say the man smiled and then he laughed. Yes. Then it's a compound sentence. All right. Okay. All right. So in this instance, it is actually a simple sentence and not a compound sentence. Okay. All right. Sorry for that mistake. Farhan, I think you got it wrong. Today is writing effectively. I think writing resume is on Monday. Yeah. Okay. So I want to go back to my slide. Okay. So 3 correct is a compound sentence. Great. What about 4? You see, look at the difference between 2 and 3. Miss Tan teaches chemistry and look, it's joined by a subject, verb, and complement again. That's a compound. Okay? All right. So 1 and 2 are simple. So that's compound. Number 4. 4 is also compound. Okay? Because it's got the so. Great. Number 5. What about number 5? What is number 5? Yes, very good. It's complex. Why? Okay, because of the dependent clause. When the cat is away, right? So that's a complex sentence. Number 6. He asked me a question, so I answered. Lester, number 6. Is it complex or compound? Look at it again. Okay, look at the word so here. He asked me a question, so I answered. So are there 2 parts? Can I answered stand on its own? Yes. Okay, it can stand on its own. Yes, it can stand on its own. Okay. So here, when it can stand on its own, it is a, okay, compound sentence. All right, next. While dinner is cooking, you can lay the table. What about this? Number 7. Yes, very good. Complex. Okay. While I'm cooking, while dinner is cooking, cannot be a complete thought. So it's a complex sentence. 8. What about 8? Yeah. 8. I emailed the company and they responded immediately. Correct. But which surprised me? Which surprised me? Can which surprised me stand on its own? No, it cannot. So it is actually a, because it's got 2 parts that are independent. I emailed the company. They responded immediately. It becomes a compound complex sentence. All right. Number 9. Thank you, Lester. Yes. All right. So Vijay, it is number 8. Yes. So number 8 is a compound complex. And number 9, what about number 9? Yes, compound complex as well. So can you tell me the parts? It's got with pizza and soda at hand. They studied APA rules for many hours and decided that writing in APA made sense because it was clear, concise, and objective. With pizza and soda at hand, cannot is independent clause, but it's got 2 and more, okay, independent clauses. Okay, they study APA rules for hours. They decided their writing in APA made sense. All right, so all that is independent, so it becomes a compound complex. And the last one, what is the last one? Yes, Ikram, very good. It's a simple sentence, but it's also a sentence because it's got a complete thought, even though it doesn't have a complement. All right, so let's move on now to something a little bit more. All right, now try to fit in a coordinating conjunction here. All right, so what's the answer for the first one? Anybody? But, great. Number 2. What about number 2? Thank you, Ikram. Lester, and, yes. Number 3. Yeah, It was raining when we stayed home. It was raining, so we stayed home. Yes. It's a cause and result kind of sentence. All right. Number 4. Yes. Why? Because you cannot have these two. They are two separate actions. Order food or make pasta. All right. So the best coordinating conjunction is or. Or. All right. Okay. So let's distinguish between complete and incomplete sentences. Okay. What about the first one? Is this complete thought or is it incomplete? If it's not a complete thought, it's an incomplete sentence. Okay, very good. Incomplete. Yeah, because it's hanging. It starts with when people learn, it starts with a subordinate conjunction, but it doesn't end there. Okay, it's not complete. The second one, number 2. Yes, number 2 is a complete sentence. It's got 2 parts. All right. Okay, number 3. Yes, complete. Number 4. Number 4. Yes. Incomplete. Why? Running on the street at night by myself. What? What happened? What is happening? Who is doing what? It's not complete. It's just hanging. Okay, so it's incomplete. Okay, because my instructor told me it was important. Is this complete or incomplete? Number 5. Incomplete. Very good. Okay, right. It's also hanging, like number 4. Okay, 45 questions in the survey. Yes, also, unless you have the word like there are, then it's a complete thought. Okay, but just 45 questions in the survey. So what? Have to be answered? Were answered? Okay, all right. What is it? Okay, clear? All right. Okay, so we will finish off by giving you a short paragraph. Now that was the sentence level, let's look at it at a paragraph level. This actually summarizes the different types of sentences. So try to complete it and just try to recognize, all right, the different structures. Okay, so let's look at the first one. All right. Okay, so let's just give you the answer. All right. So I want you all to read this and know what writing effectively actually means. In a nutshell, this is what it means. Okay, uses simple and compound sentences by higher level writing. All right, especially in business context or academic. You should try to use some complex sentences, okay, because they are more efficient. Why? Because it can contain several ideas in one sentence. Also, the use of conjunctions like although and because, all right, shows and helps the reader understand how the ideas relate to each other and will make your writing actually more cohesive. So writing doesn't actually mean only using long and complicated sentences. Writing is more effective when it is clear. It can be if achieved by using short, simple sentences such as this. okay? But it becomes more efficient and effective when you use a variety of sentence structures. Okay? All right. So hopefully I have managed to achieve that with you in the first part of my objective, which is sentence structures. Okay, now we're going to move to the next part, which is, okay, in business English, what are some of the structures that you can use which are polite and softening? So we can use expressions like, would you mind? And then you can complete your sentence. Could you? Why don't you? Would you like? Who would like? Could I suggest that? Can we agree? Okay, that is the question form. And in the statement form, all right, we can have a variety of sentences, all right, that are very soft and polite sounding, like, it would be good or great if, I wonder if you'd, I would appreciate it if, we could, I think you should, I want you, I'd like you, it would be, and I would very much. All right, with the structure. Okay, we're not really going into the grammar so much today. That's for another a day. All right, so here is actually just a variety of sentences and sentence construction. Okay, okay, purpose. Okay, there are a variety of purposes, and you can use it in your writing, because when you have purpose, it shows what is the function of that sentence in that is being used. All right, so we can have statements or declarative sentences. These are sentences which are most commonly used in business writing, which give information and facts. All right, and always end in a period. Or we can use interrogative sentences, which are actually questions, all right, that ask, there are sentences, you can call it a statement, a sentence, that asks a question, usually beginning with WH, or sometimes yes, no questions. They usually end in a question mark. They are usually used to ask or to confirm or to deny information. Imperative. Now, these are used to give commands, orders, make a request, give directions, instructions. They usually start with a verb, and it's not recommended in business writing, because it's like, you know, you're more superior and you're demanding something. We try not to do that in our business writing. All right, so try not to use imperative sentences unless, okay, it warrants an emergency or a hazard. Okay, we need to warn somebody, then only use imperative sentences. The last one is explanatory. Here is where you use exclamation marks. All right, if you have a strong feeling or reaction to something, all right, use it. Okay, all right, so I'm going to give you a variety, a paragraph with different sorts of sentences. I want you to try to recognize the different types of sentences. All right, put a bracket around interrogative sentences, put a line under the imperative sentences, and put a circle on the exploratory sentences. So you can see this. Yeah, Ikram, I really don't understand. Are you okay, Ikram? Okay, great. Okay. Okay. So are you able to recognize the different purposes of the sentences? Okay, let me share with you the answer. Yeah. All right. So what should I do is interrogative. It's asking a question. Where's the door is another interrogative question, asking a question. Imperative, There are two. Run out of the door. And please open your eyes, Jessie. Okay, so here these two sentences begin with the verb run, and no doubt it starts with please, all right, but the main verb is still, a verb is still used to start the sentence, open. Please open your eyes, okay? Unless you say, I want you to run out of the door. I want you to run out of the door. It becomes a declarative sentence. But just run out of the door is an imperative sentence. All right? No, I don't believe this with an exclamation mark is a explanatory sentence. Okay, so this is just the different purpose of using sentences. All right? So the next part that we are going to look at now is consistent verb tenses. Okay, now what is consistent verb tenses? Is when you write sentences, okay, and especially if you're writing a paragraph, make sure that the verb that you use is uniform or consistent. That means the same, okay? You cannot shift from the past to the present to the future in one sentence or even one paragraph if there is no clear reason to do this, okay? Because what is going to happen is if you do that, all right, okay, if you shift from one verb tense to another, okay, it's just going to confuse the reader, okay? It's not going to be clear. All right, so I'm going to give you some rules, all right? Don't shift tenses unnecessarily, okay? If you are writing in the past, do not shift without reason to the present. Okay, what I mean is like that, okay? If the time frame, the first guideline is if the time frame is the same. That means if you're writing in the past, all the verbs that you use must consistently be in the past. Why? Because you are talking about yesterday, for instance, or last night, or last year, or in 2010. Things that you did in 2010, okay? If you want to talk about all the things that happened then, all right, you must make sure that the tense is all in the past. All right? Okay, example like this. The instructor explains the diagram who asks questions during the lecture. So explains and asks are in the same tense because it's the same time frame. Okay, it's during the lecture. Do shift tense, verb tense, if you want to indicate a change in time frame from one action to state or state to another. For instance, the children love their new house because they built it themselves. Yes. So this is talking about something they like. Why? Because it's something that they had done previously, which is built. So here this warrants a change in a shift of verb tense. All right, so a general rule will be if you're narrating past events, if you're talking about historical events, if you're talking or writing about findings or studies, arguments in scientific literature, always use the past tense. Okay? All right, so you have got a report to write. Okay, the report is a study being done. So by all means, use the past tense. All right, and your findings all should reflect that, what happened. All right, if you use the present tense for facts or factual topics or habitual actions, things you do in every day, regularly, or to discuss your ideas or ideas that are expressed by writers or others, or if you're writing reviews of a movie or book or a play, then the preferred verb tense is in the present. All right? Occasionally, you might want to narrate an event in the present as though it's happening now. So if that is the case, then, all right, then you can write the present tense, but be consistent in that writing. Okay, in the future, action. When you want to predict about future events, okay, you can do it in a variety of ways. You can use the verbs like will, shall, is going to, are about, tomorrow, okay, or with any other adverbs of time. Okay, I've put a source there, so if you want to look at it in more depth, all right, you can click onto that link. Okay, all right, so I'm going to move on. I'm going to give you some exercises just for you to get a feel of how it is used. But before that, in what, okay, okay, all right. Establish a primary, but okay, always when you start writing, establish a primary sense of the main discourse. That means, what is the tense that you are going to use throughout your writing? Only then occasionally shift your verb tense. Okay, simply because you want to indicate that there is a change in the time frame. All right, examples like this. So all the verbs, if you can look at the first paragraph, is in the past. Sat, cried out, passed by, stared, touched, saw, would kill, seemed, were. Okay, this is what I mean by consistent verb tenses. Okay, the second one is all in the present. Okay, as you can see, all right, this is what I mean, consistently using the same verb tense so that the message is clearly as sort of conveyed, all right, the reader is not confused, and you can give more meaning to your writing. And the last one uses the future tense. Okay, will use, will fold up, will convert. Okay, all right. Okay, so I want you to read these sentences and tell me whether they are correctly structured. All right. Okay, look at this and tell me where the mistakes are, if you can find. Okay, the first sentence. Where's the mistakes in this? Anybody can point out the verb mistake? Very good, Lester, thank you. Okay, it should be what? Okay, the verb is, yes, tidies. Yes, so tidies doesn't match with finished and went. All right, so you need to change it into the past tense. The second one. Is there a mistake here? All right. Any mistakes here? Is it a correct sentence? Yeah, because they love their house which they built themselves. Right, it's correct. Thank you. The third one. Is this sentence correct? Hillary, are you referring to the second or the third, Hillary? To the second. Okay, what about the third? Thank you. What about the third? Is this a correct sentence? Are the verbs correctly done or written? Yes. Why? Here you can see, no doubt the first part is in the past, but the word now. So here you, okay, it wants to reflect the current position. So what he's doing now. Okay, so these two chores were already done. Now he's doing a new chore. Okay, so you can shift the verb tense, but use it correctly with the word and now he is tidying his room. So this is correct. What about the fourth? Fourth, Blue, very good. Yes. The winds across the coast blew the trees over when the weather got bad. Or you can do it the other way around too. You can say the winds blow along the coast, blow the trees over when the weather gets bad. Yeah, true. Nurul, that's true. Number 4 is incorrect. So you need to change the verbs. Number 5. What about number 5? Incorrect. Yes, Nurul. Are you referring to number 5, Nurul? Yes. So what's the correct answer for number 5? What should be changed? The interview went well. Because he can't speak English fluently? You cannot say was not. The interview was not go well. No, because the main verb here is go, not went. Okay? You use go because you have a negative, did not. So when you use the auxiliary did not, you cannot say went. So it's correct. So here, thank you, Lester. It went well. Yes. As didn't go well, you cannot say went well. It didn't go well as he couldn't speak English fluently. Okay, all right. The interview. So okay, so you some of you use it in the present. Why is it not in the present? Why is it in the past? Because of the context, because of the meaning. The interview. It's after the interview. It's not during the interview. The interview, you're talking about something that happened in the interview. That is the meaning we get from this sentence. The interview, you cannot say goes well, okay, in this context, because he can't or couldn't speak English fluently. The meaning of this sentence means this interview has already happened. All right, so we cannot use doesn't. Doesn't is the present. We must use it in the past. So here the interview did not go well as he couldn't speak English fluently. Okay, number 6. I'm eating the cake that I made this morning. Is it a correct structure? Are the verbs consistent? Yes, good. Number 7. What about number 7? The instructor explains who asked questions during the lecture. Number 7, is it correct or wrong? Incorrect, yeah. So where's the mistake, Hilary? Lester. Ask, yes, very good. Students ask because or vice versa. You can say the instructor explained the diagram who asked questions during the lecture. Whatever you choose, it makes sure must be consistent. And the last one? Incorrect, yes. So where's the error? Yes, very good. We have darkened, we have sprung up, but then we only have announced. So it should be announced. All right. So these are the answers. Okay. Oh, there's a mistake here. It shouldn't be us. Okay. It should be. Okay. Sorry. There's a typo mistake here. All right. So it should be us. All right. Okay. All right. So try one more. Try this. Okay, here, all right, you change the verb in the brackets so that it's the same form and tense throughout the sentence. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to quickly read through Okay, so are we ready? Okay, give you a few more minutes. Okay, oops, sorry. Shouldn't be sharing it now. Sorry, not yet. Okay, all right, so let's go through them. Okay, let's see the answer for the first one. Would like to try? The first one? What tense is this? What is the tense of the sentence? By the time Arthur returns from vacation. Helen? Anybody? No one wants to try? No takers? Would have completed? Yes. Or will have completed? Yes, very good. Thank you, Lester. What about the second one? Okay, how do we know this? This is more of grammar, okay? Because of the expression by the time. So whenever we use the expression by the time, it usually means that is something that is going to happen in the future. So because of that, we will use the future tense, will or would. All right, what about the second one? What tense is being used in the second one? Yes, very good, Nuru. Thank you. Yes. So here we have a past tense. How do we know? Because when we read it, sent a personalized thank you to everybody who gave her a wedding. So sent and gave must be of the same form. The third one, oops, sorry, it keeps flipping. What about the third one? Okay, if you buy, you will pay back. Thank you. Very good. Fourth one. Will is one of the best writers because he works quickly and okay. Why is it? It's not. If you buy some snacks, I will pay you back. Yeah, correct. I shall pay you back. Yeah, that's good, Hillary. Thank you. And number 4, will is one of the bad because he works quickly and delivers. Yeah, because works is in the simple present. Is a simple present. So they all have the same verb tense. So delivers must also be that. Number 5. What about number 5? Okay, what about number 5? Yes, I will proofread you the report after you. I will is a future. So if it's future, you cannot use the past tense. I will proofread after you finish writing it. Okay, number 6. Okay, be prepared to work overtime when Apple releases. Yes, as soon as the employees in the Spain branch, what happens? The company rolled them into the English classes. So as soon as the employees, what is the word? How do we change the arrive so that this consistent in the whole sentence? Anybody like to try? Arrived. Yes, thank you, Nurul. Okay, number 8. What about number 8? Return the damage to the store and yes, correct. Received. Right? Okay. And number 9. So you see, returned it to the store and received a refund. Every store we should have ordered. So we should have ordered. Okay, we should have ordered gives you a context of in the past. So every store okay, has sold out of the book. Okay, and so, oops, oh, sorry. All right, so this is all the correct answers for you. Well done. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, here must be has sold. Why? Because here is we should have ordered. We should have ordered means, okay, this is the first action. Okay, this is the second action. All right, so here will be has sold. Every store has sold out. So we should have ordered additional when we had the chance. All right, so because you are using, all right, a past tense. All right, it past perfect tenses here actually. All right, and the last one. Okay, is taking until she masters. So this is the action showing now. All right, good. Thank you. So we're coming up to the third part, which where we use parallel structures. Okay, what is parallel structures? Okay, parallel structures means one sentence that has many ideas, but all the ideas in that sentence must use, okay, structures which are the same so that it gives equal importance in the sentence. And also, parallel structures make your sentences clearer, and easier to read. It improves your writing styles and it brings about clarity. For example, read these sentences. This year, I plan to lose weight, study more, and watching less TV. Now, somehow when you read this sentence, you sort of think, hey, something is wrong somewhere. Something doesn't sound so right. Something is imbalanced here, okay, in the sense that the ideas, okay, some are longer, some are shorter, all right, okay, the meaning is not so clear. I cannot understand this so well. Same with the second. Most Malaysians are extremely eager, exciting, and impatiently waiting to register for COVID-19 vaccination program in My Sejahtera. Again, it's a very long sentence, yeah, but it's a bit confusing. Why? Because some of the ideas here, okay, are not balanced out properly, okay? Then wear a mask, washing hands, and keep social distance are important SOPs in curbing the spread of coronaviruses. So in these sentences, there's no parallel structure. Okay, what we need to do is we need to change some of the ideas so that they are in the same form. For instance, this. So we've got three ideas in the first sentence. Lose weight, study more, watch less TV. Make sure they're all of the same type. So you can either say to lose weight, to study more, and to watch less TV. So you see there is a balance, okay, in the form that you're using. All right. So it gives equal importance to these three different ideas. Why equal importance? Because they have the same form. To lose weight, to study more, to watch. Here is just to lose weight, study more, and watching. Okay, so here is where there is an imbalance. The second one, again, here there is a use of adjectives like eager, exciting, impatiently. But it is extremely eager. Then the next one is exciting. Then the next one is impatiently waiting. So you can see that it's lopsided. So we need to make sure the structures are balanced. So we can take extremely eager. Now change this exciting, all right, to excited, and impatiently waiting to another adjective, impatient. So most Malaysians are extremely eager, excited, and impatient to register for the COVID-19 vaccination program in My Sejahtera. Okay, and the last one too. We have got 3 ideas: wear a mask, washing hands, keep social distance, but they are the different forms. So it makes reading very difficult and confusing. Okay, I cannot follow it. There's no logical flow to it. Okay, but if you put it all in the same form, wearing a mask, washing hands, keeping social. So 3 activities, gerunds, use it in the same format, you can see that readability, okay, becomes more effective. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to quickly run through, all right, how we can use parallel structure in sentences so that we write more clearly and effectively. All right. So look at this first structure. Mary likes hiking, to swim, and cycle. 3 different ideas, all written in a different way. The first one is hiking. The second one is to swim. The third one is cycle only. All right. So there is no parallelism. So what do? We can either use gerunds, that means use verb ing forms. So change these 3 activities, hiking, the to swim, swimming, and cycle, bicycling, or just cycling, whatever. All right. So when you make a sentence, it says Mary likes hiking, swimming, and cycling, or bicycling. So you can see, okay, the quality of the sentence improves. Why? Because the structures that you use are uniform. They are the same type. They are the same form. They are the same structure. Or you can also use the infinitive form, which is to plus verb. Mary likes to hike, to swim, and to ride. And because you have the word and here, you can choose to not write to for swim and cycle and ride. So you can say Mary likes to hike, swim, and ride a bicycle. All right. Okay. That is the first one. You use it. The second one is when you have clauses. That means you have a group of words. When you have a group of words like wearing a mask, washing your hands, okay, things like that, you must also make sure that it is uniform. It is parallel. Okay. Example, the coach told the players that they should get a lot of sleep, that they should not eat too much, and to do some warm-up. The first 2 sound very good. I can follow it. There's a flow. This is the same. But look at the third one. And to do some warm-up exercise does not match. It's not parallel structure. So what you need to do is you need to change it to they should get some, okay, that they should get a lot of sleep, that they should not eat too much, and that they should do some warm-up exercises. Or you can choose just to do it once, that they should get a lot of sleep, not eat too much, and do some. So you can see get, eat, do are the same type. Hiking, swimming, bicycling, same type. To hike, to swim, to ride, same type. That they should get, that they should not eat, that they should do, the same type. Okay? Or when you have a list of things, all right, where you use lots of commas, 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 make sure you also have a parallel structure. Okay? Example, the dictionary can be used to find these. What are they? Word meanings, how to pronounce, correctly spelling words, looking up irregular. All different forms. It's very confusing to understand. Okay? How do we make it parallel? Choose one type, stick to it. Okay, if you want to use how, use it throughout. How to find the meaning of words, how to pronounce, how to spell words correctly, how to look up for irregular verbs. That's one. That's parallel. But if you don't want, if you just want to use nouns, word meanings, okay, then you need to say, use the nouns only, word meanings, pronunciations, correct spellings, irregular verbs. Okay, all right. Okay, this is my source. So you can take a picture and you can always refer to it later. All right, there are more structures that I would like to share with you. Continue with when you're using coordinating conjunctions too. So make sure the type, okay, of form that is in the first part of the independent clause is the same as the second part of your independent clause. Okay, my best friend took me dancing and to a show. So you see, dancing and to a show are not the same. All right. Okay, so we need to make it parallel. My friend took me to a dance and a show. So a dance and a show. Unless you said, okay, you want to change the context of it, okay? With correlative conjunctions. What are correlative conjunctions? They are expressions like not only, but also when you're comparing to, okay? All right, either or, neither or, if then. Then too, you must make sure that there is parallelism, okay? Example, my dog not only likes to fetch, but also chases cat. Now here you say likes to fetch. And you use a correlative conjunction like not only, but also. What is the thing that you should change? So likes to fetch, but also likes to chase cats. That's the meaning of parallelism. Okay, my dog not only likes to fetch, but he also likes to chase cars. My dog likes not only to fetch, but also to chase cars. All right, so be very careful when you're using this. Okay, this next one is when you're using words of comparison. Okay, like then or as. I would rather pay for my education than financial aid. Now, pay for my education and financial aid, they are not parallel in form. They're entirely different. One is a clause, the other one is a noun. Can you put them together? No. So what do you need to do? All right. Okay. So pay for my education and then receive financial aid. All right. Okay. So these are some of the structures. So let's quickly try this. Now cross out one that is not parallel in these sentences. Anybody like to cross out? What is not parallel in this group of sentences? Pedaling, very good. The second one? Banana, yes, because all of them are colors. The next? What about the next? Number 3. What is not parallel? Drive, yes, because all in the past except drive. Drive is in the present. Can I have that? That is, okay, confusing. The last one? You cannot have watched, because watched, ate, slept, they're all in the past tense. But drive is in the present. Yes, to stand. See, everything else is gerund. Reading, biking, jumping. So the last one should be standing. Okay, what about this? Okay, remember, there are many ways to revise a sentence to reflect parallel structures. Okay, so there's not only one rule. Rewrite each of these incorrect sentences. So I'll give you some helpful hints. First, you figure out what part of the speech are you comparing. Then decide whether they are parallel. Are they arranged and constructed in the same way? Are the ideas constructed equally, okay, in the same format? If they are not, then, okay, make the correct grammatical construction. So look at this. How would we change this? I would rather eat potatoes than to eat rice. Now this is a comparison. So what's the answer for number 1? I would rather eat potatoes than rice. Good. Or I would rather eat potatoes than eat rice. Also can be. But you cannot have 2 because the first part doesn't have 2. Okay? So good. Number 2. Global warming affects humans, the environment, and is scary. It's a bit tough, but we'll try. How can we make this sentence parallel in structure? Anybody would like to try? Any ideas? Ikram. Okay, look at it. What is the same? It's talking about humans and environment, right? And then it's talking about scary. So it can be a bit unbalanced. So we can say global warming affects humans and the environment. Okay, for instance, or you can say global warming is very scary as it affects humans and the environment. You can have different structures, but make sure they are the same. Okay, you have a comma here, and then in the end you have and then you have a scary. It's scary doesn't tie up with humans and environment, so it's entirely different. Okay, we must try to make them parallel. Next one, it's harder to do long division than dividing with a calculator. This is a bit easier. How can we change this? Anybody? Any takers for this? It's harder to do long division. To do long division, that's a clause. To do long division, then what will the second part be? To do, then to divide. Very good. That's it. So it is harder to do long division than to divide with a calculator. Number 4, pirates ransacked the mansion, but they didn't steal all the silver. They ransacked the mansion. That's your first part. But what will match this? See, they ransacked the mansion, but they didn't steal all the silver. You can make it more balanced by saying they ransacked the mansion, but failed to steal all the silver. Just change it because it's ransacked. So you want something rhyming with the ransacked. Failed to steal, okay, but failed to steal all the silver. And the last one, it's very settled. My degree, my work experience, and ability to complete complicated projects qualify me for the job. My degree, my work experience, and my ability. So make it uniform. That's very good. Somebody got it. Ikram, well done. See, my degree, you're using my degree. Then using my work experience. Why not use my ability too? So then it's matching. That's what I call parallel structures. Okay, all good? All right. So this is a list of things that you do in the office. Okay, but they're all in different format, all different structures. How can we improve the quality of this? How can we redo this? You can take the cue from the first one. If you're going to prepare weekly field payroll, what should the second one be, the third one, the fourth? Because number one, and if you look at number 5, okay, they're talking about what? Duties. Okay, so you can say prepared weekly field payroll. What can you do for the second one? Material purchasing. What is a verb? Okay, you can say prepare. Yes, you can say prepare, not wrong. But if you, Ikram, you use prepare, then number 5, you say maintain. Make sure it's uniform. And if, because you start with the verb, the second one doesn't start with the verb. It starts with material, which is a name. So you must start it with the verb too. What is a good verb to start with? Okay, and the third one, recording. Recording is not a verb. Very good. You can purchase material. But material purchasing. So material purchasing, maybe a better verb will be handle. Handle purchasing, material purchasing, handle expediting, and handle returning. Okay? The third one, recording. You cannot have recording. Recording doesn't match with prepare or prepared. So you can change it to record or recorded. Okay? And number 4 will be change orders. Now, what is a verb that you use with change orders? What do you do with orders? You process orders, right? So that could be a verb. So you will have something like that. Okay, so you can either use prepared or you can say prepare, maintain, record, process, maintain. So you can see this is what I mean by parallel structures. Okay, all right. The next part is called signposting. What is signposting? And why are they important? Okay, they are like road signs. They tell you the direction that your writing is taking. Okay, they are the glue that will hold your writing together so that what you have is a unified, cohesive piece of writing. Okay, they make the reader, okay, understand your ideas better, avoid confusion. Okay, they link all your sentences, paragraphs, and sections together. Okay, and they make your writing more effective. All right, without signposts, writing, especially the long ones, can be very difficult to follow and understand. All right, there are many names for these signposts. You can call it transitions, transitional words, signal words, whatever word they mean, but they are the words, the glue that is used to link ideas together. All right, when should we use it? When you want to indicate important elements of your writing. The purpose. So you can say, the purpose of today's writing is, or the purpose of the work is, or your position, or your the main point. So main point, my conclusion, in summary, they're all signposts. Or how and why you're moving from one idea to another. Moving on, going back, reflecting on what I said earlier. They're all signposts. Identify the connection between the ideas, within the sentences, between the sentences, and between paragraphs. And also, sometimes it's a checklist, okay? It's for readers to remember the context, to see what has already been covered. But warning, don't use it precisely. Avoid the temptation of dotting your signposts throughout your text. Think carefully how you want to link the two ideas or sentences or paragraph. All right, always ask your question, why use it? Okay, so these are all the different signposts that you can actually use in your writing. When you want to sequence information, when you want to indicate time, when you want to introduce new or additional ideas, When you want to conclude, when you want to indicate a result or cause, introduce an idea, introduce an example, compare or summarize and conclude. Okay, you can use a variety of signposts or transitions. All right, you can either use it, okay, you can either use it okay, so I'm going to give you some examples to add information, example like this. Okay, you can use words like besides that, furthermore. It will enhance your writing. People are able to follow your writing better. Okay, to show conclusion. Example like this, you have reached the end of your sentence. So we know that's the end because we have a sign that says in conclusion. When you want to repeat information, okay, okay, all right, so you can use the word in other words. So I know you are recapping or repeating your information. Okay, when you want to make a comparison, you can use signals like in comparison. Okay, so Bob loves to go parties, but what about Sue? In comparison, she loves to stay at home with her family. Okay, all right, then contrasts or differences. Okay, you can use words like though, all right, to show that contrast. Though I like to eat green vegetables because they are healthy, I hate them. All right, or you can use effects to show effect and result. I was too tired, therefore I decided not to go to the state fair last night. If you want to show sequence, you can use words like, first, second, third, or firstly, secondly, lastly, or first, then, after that. All right, so all these are for sequence. When you want to show relationships, all right, okay, while something was happening, what else happened? Okay, when you want to illustrate or give an example, you use a signpost like to illustrate. For example, for instance. All right, okay, so you can get more from this source that I have included in the link. All right, that's Ikram says it's very important and very useful. Yeah, thank you, Ikram. I hope you found that useful. All right, and not only you can use it, all right, there are some signposts that can be used in the start of a sentence and also in the middle of a sentence with having the same meaning. All right, so these are more signposts that are used. All right, reason, because, addition, and, result, so, purpose, so that, focus, emphasis, being specific, listing, then, after, comparison, like, contrast, but. Okay, right. Now, read this passage with no signpost. Then I'll give you one with the signpost, and I want you to compare. What is the difference? What do you feel, okay, between the two? As compared to this. Do you think it's better with the signposts? Okay, right. Can you tell me some of the signposts that you found in the second paragraph? Anyone? Anybody can see any signposts that, that you can see in this? Yes, for instance, very good. In addition, very good. Thank you. Anything else? Any more? There are a few more. Finally, yes, good. Finally. Okay, finally, yep. For example, therefore, yes, and one more, also. Okay, well done, good. All right, so let's move on. Okay, so now we come to part 5 of our effective writing, punctuation. Also a very, very important skill for writing effectively to be understood. Make sure your punctuation is on point. Okay, the comma. We can use the comma in 4 ways, all right, in a series, okay, to join 2 compound sentences. Now, of course, this is very American. The British don't really have sometimes, okay, in compound sentence, all right, but it varies. So it's optional. Also, when you use transitions, like all the signposts that I gave you just now, therefore, for instance, however, in addition, all need a comma. And also to separate words which are not essential in to the meaning of a sentence and can be left out. All right? Okay. So like example, I, Kuljinder Kaur. Okay, so I, comma, Kuljinder Kaur, comma. So I can leave out Kuljinder Kaur. I don't want to say. Just say I and then continue with the sentence. So these are the 4 uses of commas. And then the colon. The main function of a colon is to introduce. That's it. Introduce. Okay, a lot of us always get our colons wrong. All right. So it introduces what? 4 things. A word. Like, there's only one thing I don't like, colon, lizards. It introduces what you don't like, lizards. Or a phrase. There's only one thing I don't like about him. His pet lizards. Or in a sentence, there's only one thing that I don't like. I don't like his pet lizards. Or there's only one thing on my mind. I want to get rich. So you can even have a sentence after a colon. You can have a word after a colon. You can have a phrase after a colon. You can also have a list of things, of items after a colon. There are only 3 things on my mind: food, travel, and shopping. Okay? A colon gives a special emphasis to what you're introducing because a reader must stop and pay attention to it. The only thing on my mind is lizards. That is one structure. But you want to have variety. You want to have something else. Okay? You can add a semicolon. Never put a colon after a verb when you are introducing something. Example, the 2 main qualities of a person must have are responsibility and honesty. That's wrong because of the verb are. After are, never have a colon. Remember, it's a big no-no. Okay, 2 qualities are responsibility and honesty. If you want to bring the 2 adjectives responsibility and honestly, you can put it in a semicolon as a person. Change the context of the sentence, structure of the sentence. A person must have 2 main qualities, responsibilities and honesty. A semicolon, something easier to use, also used a lot of times with signposts, especially with however, okay, therefore, okay, but, okay. So it is used when you want to connect 2 sentences. John is very generous. He donates to charity all the time. Jenny likes cats. However, if there is a comparison, she hates dogs. Use however. You can use a full stop instead of a semicolon, but the semicolon emphasizes the close relationship between these 2 sentences. Okay, so the second makes a comment on the first. So if you want to show that relationship, then you use a semicolon. The dash is used to separate words in the middle of a sentence. Like if you want, you can use a comma in this instance as well, but you can also use a dash if you have a string of words. My son, the love of my life. Okay, put it in dash, which is a longer than a hyphen. Hyphen is short dash. A dash is a longer hyphen. Okay, is celebrating. The use of dash is to separate it from the rest because it can stand out on its own. Okay, it's embedded, okay, within another sentence. So one part that is embedded in a sentence can be separated by a dash. A hyphen is just shorter and it is used if we have a word that is very long that needs to go to the next line, or is used in compound words. Okay, all right. So, oops, sorry. Okay, so I would like to, if you just try, oops, sorry. Okay, if you just write, if you would like to read this, and sorry, what is it? Okay. You see, this is one long train of words. Makes no sense. All right, punctuations are very important. We don't want to have sentences that are so long, so confusing. All right, that doesn't tell us where's the beginning, where's the end. All right, how many concepts, how many ideas you are talking about. All right, it doesn't give you anything. Right, if we break it up into sentences by using punctuations like this, it gives meaning to flow, logical flow to your writing. Okay, so I want to finish off the last part, which is some tips and suggestions for effective writing before I open the floor to Q&A. All right, so I will quickly run through. So what I've actually done is I've actually gone through which skills which I feel sometimes, okay, are neglected, okay, when you, as you learn writing. When we learn writing, we just go and write without having a clue of some of the basic skills that are important in making sentences, and sentences that make paragraphs, and paragraphs that make chapters and books. Okay, these simple skills are just simple skills like how to make sentences, a variety of sentences, how to join two sentences, all right, how to make complex sentences. And then when you're making sentences, are the verbs tense you use uniform? Are they consistent? Okay, these might sound small, but they are very, very important to give quality to your writing. Then parallel structures, your ideas. Are you just putting ideas at random, or do they have a structure? Are they uniform? Are they parallel? Do they have the same pattern? It's very important so that we can understand what you're trying to say. All right, because it has got some structure and pattern. Then, of course, transitions. They give a logical sequence to your writing. They make you stop and think. They keep track of where you are so that you can follow and understand the text better. And of course, punctuation. All right, for me, all these 5, okay, aspects of writing are very, very important to make sure that the message that you want to convey to the reader, okay, is clear, is concise, and it is effective and purposeful. All right. So with that, I would quickly go through some of the tips and suggestions, okay, in fine-tuning your writing. Know your audience, know your message. Actually, think about it. What is it that you want to share? Is it something difficult? Okay. You have to be very clear in your mind first. Then try to put one idea per sentence. Okay. When you have too many ideas, it just weakens your message because the readers sometimes miss out some ideas. All right. Don't use any buzzwords or cliches. Okay. Junk the jargon. Throw it away. All right. Don't be so technical. Don't use lingo that is not understood. Okay. It should not be confusing. It should not be slang. Keep it tight. What I mean by tight is keep it short. Keep the paragraph short. Keep the sentences short. But it doesn't mean that you cannot have variety in your sentences. Okay? Don't try to be long-winded. Make it plain and simple, right? Okay, you can use bullet points. All right, you can break up your message into subheadings, but put the important information at the top. Leave all your symbols and abbreviation to your phone. No shortcuts, no shorthand. All right, use active sentences. All right, okay, use the active voice. That will brighten up your writing. All right, proofread. I cannot stress enough this word proofread. You have to proofread as many times as you can. Give it to somebody who can proofread to you as well. Okay, so with that, I come to the end of my presentation. I would now stop sharing and I would like to open the floor to any questions you would like to ask. So feel free to ask any questions. Anybody? I hope this was helpful to you. Thank you, Faiz. Thank you for the thumbs up. Okay. No questions? No one has any questions to ask? Hope you have learned a thing or two. What do you think you can carry back with you after this webinar? Maybe you like to write a sentence, something that rekindled, something that refreshed your memory. Thank you, Atira. Something that, renewed, some knowledge that you had. Yeah? Anybody would like to say anything? Share something you have learned. Was it useful? Was it not useful? Be frank, difficult. We have about 10 minutes, 9 minutes. Everybody's very quiet. Did I put you all to sleep? Maybe I put all of you to sleep. Yes? Nur Fatiha, would you like to say something? Faiz is laughing. Thank you so much.
So actually, I am one of the coordinator for today's webinar.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you would be in the WebEx room.
Actually, we have one from Lester Lim, which is she's saying, "Thank you very much, Madam Kuljinder. It certainly refreshed me awareness of sentence structure."
Okay,
And also
thank
from
you.
Atira, yep.
Okay, thank you so much.
Giving
Thank you
speech
so much.
at the chat box.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I'm just looking at that now. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, I feel elated. Thank you so much, Leona. I feel so proud that you actually will take back something useful from this webinar. All right, I wanted to make it something different. I don't want to talk to things that everybody already knows. I wanted to make it a little bit different, which I feel as a teacher, I've been teaching for more than 30 years, that sometimes we overlook simple things like using a consistent verb tense or even using parallel structures and signposts. Sometimes are overlooked in writing. We tend to emphasize on, other things more. If you read literature and if you Google, I mean, we live in such an age. You're so lucky Just by the click of your fingers, you can get the latest information, knowledge, all right, know-how on structures. Thank you for Nina. Very useful. Thank you. American and British, yes, of course, very different, the British and the American. But we live in such a globalized world today. I think everything is accepted. Okay, whether you use the British English, Queen's English, or you use American English. I think let's be more open-minded about it. The most important is never feel intimidated. Always try. There's always a learning curve. Even I'm learning every day, even though I've been teaching for 30 over years. I learn every day. All right. So never stop learning. Writing is an art. It's a technique. So you need to master, just like you master anything. So that's why I said, get your paper and your pen ready and just start putting your thoughts, your ideas down on paper. That's a start. Even taking a piece of paper and a pencil is sometimes very daunting to a lot of people, right? Okay, it's not. Why? Because we're not used to it. We're not used to it. It's not a habit. It's not a routine. But if you make it a habit and a routine, I tell you, writing is so enjoyable. Okay, just let the thoughts flow first. Don't think about structure. Don't think about grammar. Just let it flow. Okay, because then slowly, all right, as you proofread, you can see the structure being formed. Okay, then your thoughts, put it into simple sentences. Then from the simple sentences, try to combine the simple sentences by what I've told you. Use some conjunctions to make them into complex or compound sentences. And then slowly put variety inside. Some can be statements, some can be interrogative, some can be imperative statements. All right, put variety in. All right, then you have to look, signpost them. Then look at tenses. What tense are we? First ask yourself, what am I doing? Narrating? Am I writing a report? Am I doing a presentation? What am I doing? What's my purpose? Then you will get your verb tense, sorted out. Then you can think, okay, I'm going to talk about something that happened long time ago. Then I know what tense I'm writing about. It's a simple past. Or I'm going to talk about my future. Then I know I have to change all my verb tense to the future. Ask, always ask, think, ask questions. Okay, you never can go wrong. If you don't know what to write, use the WH question. What, where, when, how. Okay, you will never get wrong. You will know how to make sentences. How? Oh, I write with a pen. Where? I write on paper. Why? Because I want to improve my English. So you see, the WH will guide you to write simple sentences. Go by the WH questions for a start, if you don't know. All right. Okay, we have a few more minutes. Anybody wants to share? Anything? Thoughts? Thank you, Ikram. I'm glad you learned a lot. I hope you don't leave it here. I hope you take it with you. All right. I hope you carry this information with you. I hope you think about it. Think about Kuljinder and think parallel structure, signpost, consistent verb tense. What is that? I have a social media. It's Kuljinder Kaur. Okay. All right. You can try me. Okay, Sandra. Thank you. Esther. Yeah, that's right. I'm very passionate about teaching. I love teaching. Okay. It gives me a lot of joy. And I don't like online training. Actually, personally, I'm a people's person. I like to connect. I like to be there face to face, where I can feel your energy. This is just a wall of gray. All I see is names. It makes me very nervous. It doesn't put me at ease. And then you have got this whole, monitor of slides. I don't get the connection with all of you. You know what I mean? I miss the human touch. So, but I hope you benefited from this webinar. All right. Okay. Thank you, Faiz. Thank you, Ku. Thank you, Atira. I'm glad. Yeah. I really enjoyed this session, even though it's like talking to myself. I felt that I'm talking to myself. Yeah, but good. Yeah, it's nice to make connections with people. I don't like this new normal. I want to be out there, but we have to be patient. Yeah, okay. All right. So,
Okay, so if there is no other questions, then maybe we can end the session. So
yeah,
we have reached the end of today's session.
yeah.
So thank you so much, madam.
Okay, but
for
don't forget we have to take a photo. I want
Can
to
I
take
see
a
the
photo.
photo?
can we open the camera so that
Yes,
all the participants so that we can take a screenshot?
it's a great memory for me.
Okay, sure, madam.
Thank you.
Okay.
So waiting for everybody to put your videos on. So
Yep.
Nur Fatiha can take a photo. And I can see who I was talking to too. Oh, what happened? Something happened. Yep.
Yep. It's
Okay.
loading.
Okay. It's
Okay.
loading.
Now I
Okay.
can see the participant.
Okay. Now I can see all your comments. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, Lester, thank you so much for all your answers. Thank you, Lester. Okay, let me see. The other one was Nor Atika. Have I found her? Thank you, Atira. And the other one was Lester and what was that? I forgot her name. Let me just see. Hanani, hi. Thank you for joining us.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Take the screenshot.
Why the others are camera shy? I know, are you camera shy? Ashikin, Anna, Aliyah, don't be camera shy. Elizabeth. Thank you. Thank you, Ku. Thank you, Farhan. Farhan. Okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Esther.
Okay, for the participant, kindly please wait because we will be sharing the exit survey form on the screen. And for those who cannot scan the QR code, we will be sharing also the link at the chat box. So thank you so much, madam, for today's session. I think it was a very good knowledge sharing, and also it's very informative and interactive. I hope the participant gain a lot of benefit throughout the session. And also, yep. So note for the participant, kindly please wait because we'll be sharing the exit survey on the screen and also the link at the chat box.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Have
Thank
a
you,
good
madam.
day. Stay
Sure.
safe.